Hi there, welcome to Colin's Reading Aloud Project Part 128. Another 1,000 words, starting now. Impocketed, impocketing, impockets, impolder, impoldered, impoldering, impolders, impolicies, impolicy, impolite, impolitely, impoliteness, impolitenesses, impoliter, impolitest, impolitic, impolitical, impolitically, impolitically, impoliticness, impoliticnesses, imponderabilia, imponderability, imponderable, imponderables, imponderably, imponderous, impone, imponed, imponent, imponents, impones, imponing, imporus, import, importabilities, importability, importable, importance, importances, importancies, importancy, important, importantly, importation, importations, imported, importer, importers, importing, importings, imports, importunities, importunacy, importunate, importunately, importunateness, importune, importuned, importunely, importuner, importuners, importunes, importuning, importunings, importunities, importunity, imposable, impose, imposed, imposer, imposers, imposes, imposex, imposexes, imposing, imposingly, imposingness, imposingnesses, imposition, impositions, impossibilism, impossibilisms, impossibilist, impossibilists, impossibilities, impossibility, impossible, impossibleness, impossibles, impossibly, impost, imposted, imposter, imposters, impostumate, impostumated, impostumates, impostumating, impostumation, impostumations, impostume, impostumed, impostumes, imposting, impostor, impostorus, impostorus, impostors, impostrous, imposts, impostumate, impostumated, impostumates, impostumating, impostumation, impostumations, impostume, impostumed, impostumes, imposture, impostures, imposturous, impot, impotence, impotences, impotencies, impotency, impotent, impotently, impotentness, impotentnesses, impotence, impots, impound, impoundable, impoundage, impoundages, impounded, impounder, impounders, impounding, impoundment, impoundments, impounds, impoverish, impoverished, impoverisher, impoverishers, impoverishes, impoverishing, impoverishment, impoverishments, empower, empowered, empowering, empowers, impracticable, 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 impracticably, impractical, impractically, impracticality, impractically, impracticalness, imprecate, imprecated, imprecates, imprecating, imprecation, imprecations, imprecatory, imprecise, imprecisely, impreciseness, imprecisenesses, imprecision, imprecisions, impredicative, impregnability, impregnable, impregnableness, impregnably, impregnant, impregnance, impregnatable, impregnatable, impregnate, impregnated, impregnates, impregnating, impregnation, impregnations, impregnator, impregnators, impregned, impregning, impregns, imprezza, imprezzari, impresario, impresarios, imprezzas, imprescriptible, imprescriptibly, impresi, impreses, impress, impress, impressed, impressor, impressors, impresses, impressibility, impressible, impressing, impression, impressionable, impressional, impressionally, impressionism, impressionisms, impressionist, impressionistic, impressionists, impressions, impressive, impressively, impressiveness, impressment, impressments, impressure, impressures, impressed, impressts, imprimatur, imprimatures, imprimes, imprint, imprinted, imprinter, imprinters, imprinting, imprintings, imprints, imprison, imprisonable, imprisoned, imprisoner, imprisoners, imprisoning, imprisonment, imprisonments, imprisons, impro, improbabilities, improbability, improbable, improbableness, improbably, improbation, improbations, improbities, improbity, impromptu, impromptus, improper, improperly, improperness, impropernesses, impropriate, impropriate, impropriated, impropriates, impropriating, impropriation, impropriations, impropriator, impropriators, improprieties, impropriety, impros, improv, improvabilities, improvability, improvable, improvableness, improvably, improve, improved, improvement, improvements, improver, improvers, improves, improvidence, improvidences, improvident, improvidently, improving, improvingly, improvisate, improvisated, improvisates, improvisating, improvisation, improvisational, improvisations, improvisator, improvisator, improvisators, improvisatory, improvisatorial, improvisators, improvisatory, improvisatrices, improvisatrix, improvisatrixes, improvise, improvised, improviser, improvisers, improvises, improvising, improvisor, improvisors, improvs, improvisatory, improvisatories, improvisatrice, imprudence, imprudences, imprudent, imprudently, imps, impsonite, impsonites, impudence, impudences, impudencies, impudency, impudent, impudently, impudentness, impudentnesses, impudicities, impudicity, impugn, impugnable, impugnation, impugnations, impugned, impugner, impugners, impugning, impugnment, impugnments, impugns, impuissance, impuissances, impuissant, impulse, impulsed, impulses, impulsing, impulsion, impulsions, impulsive, impulsively, impulsiveness, impulsivenesses, impulsivities, impulsivity, impundulu, impundulus, impunities, impunity, impure, impurely, impureness, impurenesses, impurer, impurest, impurities, impurity, impurple, impurpled, impurples, impurpling, imputabilities, imputability, imputable, imputableness, imputablenesses, imputably, imputation, imputations, imputative, imputatively, impute, imputed, imputer, imputers, imputes, imputing, imshi, inabilities, inability, inabstinence, inabstinences, inaccessibility, inaccessible, inaccessibly, inaccuracies, inaccuracy, inaccurate, inaccurately, inaccurateness, inaction, inactions, inactivate, inactivated, inactivates, inactivating, inactivation, inactivations, inactive, inactively, inactiveness, inactivenesses, inactivities, inactivity, inadaptable, inadaptation, inadaptations, inadaptive, inadequacies, inadequacy, inadequate, inadequately, inadequateness, inadequates, inadmissibility, inadmissible, inadmissibly, inadvertence, inadvertences, inadvertencies, inadvertency, inadvertent, inadvertently, inadvisability, inadvisable, inadvisableness, inadvisably, inalienable, inalienability, inalienable, inalienableness, inalienably, inalterability, inalterable, inalterableness, inalterably, inamorata, inamoratas, inamorati, inamorato, inamoratos, inane, inanely, inaneness, inanenesses, inana, inanes, inanest, inanger, inangers, inanimate, inanimately, inanimateness, inanimatenesses, inanimation, inanimations, inanities, inanition, inanitions, inanity, inapparent, inapparently, inappeasable, inappellable, inappetence, inappetences, inappetencies, inappetency, inappetent, inapplicability, inapplicable, inapplicably, inapposite, inappositely, inappositeness, inappreciable, inappreciably, inappreciation, inappreciations, inappreciative, inapprehensible, inapprehension, inapprehensions, inapprehensive, inapproachable, inapproachably, inappropriate, inappropriately, inapt, inaptitude, inaptitudes, inaptly, inaptness, inaptnesses, inarrable, inarch, inarched, inarches, inarching, inarguable, inarguably, inarm, inarmed, inarming, inarms, inarticulacies, inarticulacy, inarticulate, inarticulately, inarticulates, inarticulation, inarticulations, inartificial, inartificially, inartistic, inartistically, inasmuch, inattention, inattentions, inattentive, inattentively, inattentiveness, inaudibilities, inaudibility, inaudible, inaudibleness, inaudiblenesses, inaudibly, inaugural, inaugurals, inaugurate, inaugurated, inaugurates, inaugurating, inauguration, inaugurations, inaugurator, inaugurators, inauguratory, inaugurate, inaugurated, inaugurates, inaugurating, inauspicious, inauspiciously, inauthentic, inauthenticity, in being, in beings, in bent, in board, in boards, in born, in bound, in bounded, in bounding, in bounds, in box, in boxes, in break, in breaks, in breathe, in breathed, in breathes, in breathing, in bread, in breads, in breed, in breeder, in breeders, in breeding, in breedings, in breeds, in bring, in bringing, in bringings, in brings, in brought, in built, in burning, in burst, in bursting, in bursts, in by, in cage, in caged, in cages, in caging, incalculability, incalculable, incalculably, incalescence, incalescences, incalescent, incandesce, incandesced, incandescence, incandescences, incandescencies, incandescency, incandescent, incandescently, incandescence, incandesces, incandescing, incant, incantation, incantational, incantations, incantator, incantators, incantatory, incanted, incanting, incants, incapabilities, incapability, incapable, incapableness, incapablenesses, incapables, incapably, incapacious, incapaciousness, incapacitant, incapacitants, incapacitate, incapacitated, incapacitates, incapacitating, incapacitation, incapacitations, incapacities, incapacity, encapsulate, encapsulated, encapsulates, encapsulating, encapsulation, encapsulations, incarcerate, incarcerated, incarcerates, incarcerating, incarceration, incarcerations, incarcerator, incarcerators, incardinate, incardinated, incardinate, incardinated, incardinates, incardinating, incardination, incardinations, incarnadine, incarnadined, incarnadines, incarnadining, dining, incarnate, incarnated, incarnates, incarnating, incarnation, incarnations, incarvilia, incarvilias, encase, encased, encasement, encasements, encases, encasing, incatenate, incatenated, incatenates, incatenating, incatenation, incatenations, incaution, incautions, incautious, incautiously, incautiousness, incave, incaved, incaves, incavy, incaving, incavo, inseed, inseeded, inseeds, inseeding, inseedingly, incendiaries, incendiarism, incendiarisms, incendiary, incendivities, incendivity, insensation, insensations, incense, incensed, incensement, incensements, incensor, incensors, incenses, incensing, incensor, incensories, incensors, incensory, incent, incented, incenter, incentors, incenting, incentive, incentively, incentives, incentivization, incentivize, incentivized, incentivizes, incentivizing, incentivization, incentivize, incentivized, incentivizes, incentivizing, incenter, incenters, incense, incept, incepted, incepting, inception, inceptions, inceptive, inceptively, inceptives, inceptor, inceptors, incepts, incertain, incertainties, incertainty, incertitude, incertitudes, incessancies, incessancy, incessant, incessantly, incessantness, incessantnesses, incest, incests, incestuous, incestuously, incestuousness, inch, incharitable, inchase, inchaste, inchases, inchasing, inched, incher, inchers, inches, inching, inchmeal, inchoate, inchoated, inchoately, inchoateness, inchoatenesses, inchoates, inchoating, inchoation, inchoations, inchoative, inchoatively, inchoatives, inchpin, inchpins, inch tape, inch tapes, inchworm, inchworms, incidents, incidences, incident, incidental, incidentally, incidentalness, incidentals, incidents, incinerate, incinerated, incinerates, incinerating, incineration, incinerations, incinerator, incinerators, incipients, incipiences, incipiencies, incipiency, incipient, incipiently, incipit, incipits, incisal, incise, incised, incises, incisivorm, incising, incision, incisions, incisive, incisively, incisiveness, incisivenesses, incisor, incisorial, incisors, incisory, incisural, incisure, incisures, incitable, incitant, incitants, incitation, incitations, incitative, incitatives, incite, incited, incitement, incitements, inciter, inciters, incites, inciting, incitingly, incivil, incivilities, incivility, incivism, incivisms, inclasp, inclasped, inclasping, inclasps, inkle, inclemencies, inclemency, inclement, inclemently, inclementness, inclementnesses, incles, inclinable, inclinableness, inclination, inclinational, inclinations, inclinatoria, inclinatorium, inclinatory, incline, inclined, incliner, incliners, inclines, inclining, inclinings, inclinometer, inclinometer, inclip, inclipped, inclipping, inclips, inclosable, enclose, enclosed, encloser, enclosers, encloses, enclosing, enclosure, enclosures, includable, include, included, includedness, includednesses, includes, includable, including, inclusion, inclusions, inclusive, inclusively, inclusiveness, inclusivesnesses, inclusivities, inclusivity, incoagulable, incoercible, incogitability, incogitable, incogitancies, incogitancy, incogitant, incogitative, incogitative, incognizable, incognizance, incognisances, incognizant, incognita, incognitas, incognito, incognitos, incognizable, incognizance, incognizances, incognizant, incogs, incoherence, incoherences, incoherencies, incoherency, incoherent, incoherently, incoherentness, incohesive, incombustible, incombustibles, incombustibly, income, incomer, incomers, incomes, incoming, incomings, incommensurable, incommensurably, incommensurate, incommissible, incommode, incommoded, incommodes, incommoding, incommodious, incommodiously, incommodities, incommodity, incommunicable, incommunicably, incommunicado, incommunicative, incommutably, incommutability, incommutable. That's the 1,000 for today. I'll stop there and see you tomorrow.